slide. We've got awesome sponsors. Oh, the Florida Network on Disabilities Trust, who will be speaking today, Best Buddies. Of course, the Florida Council of Administrators of Special Education, Florida CASE. I can't say enough good things about all our wonderful sponsors. The next slide should have a few more sponsors. The Best Buddies program and Project 10. Discoverability, A.L. Harper Foundation, Disability Rights Florida, HDS Companies, eHousing Plus, the HDS Foundation, Housing and Development Software. Wonderful, wonderful sponsors that we have this year. Please check them out on the event Moby, and if there's links to their websites, go research them some more. So yesterday, you all learned about the power to stand. Today, you're gonna learn about fearless independence. So who's gonna introduce our keynote is Dr. Cannon Cameron, past last year's president, the past FLDCD president for last year. He's the program specialist for ESE transition services for Orange County Public Schools. He oversees the ESE transition school as well as the Able Trust High School High Tech program. Able Trust is also one of our sponsors. Cannon, take it away.
Hey, good morning, everybody. So I am actually, I have an older version of Zoom and learned this morning that I can't put up my DCD background because I have an older version. So I'm really not in the witness protection program, I promise. But we're doing great this morning, and welcome everybody. We have an awesome speaker ahead. So Miss Delana Parrish, she's a marketing graduate from the University of Florida with double minors in retail and entrepreneurship. As a multidimensional influencer with cerebral palsy, she is also an experienced advocate for many people with disabilities and their allies. Her 2020 TEDx UF talk, Why Businesses Must Be Fearless in Disability Inclusion, called upon college students, campus recruiters, and employers to understand that diversity inclusion is also disability inclusion. Ms. Parrish has formed relationships with international brands such as Vera Bradley, Tommy Hilfiger, and Zappos Adaptive, and is a brand ambassador for New Motion Mobility, Tobii Dynavox, and Runway of Dreams. But most impressively, she has formed and expanded her own business, Fearless Independence, into a collaborative branding and consulting platform. Most recently, she has been consulting with Tobii Dynavox, a global leader for assistive and augmentative communication. Her presentation uses advanced eye gauge technology as a spoken word. And I have had the pleasure and honor of communicating with Delana and her mom. So I'd also like to introduce her mom, who is her business partner and her manager. And mom is a wonderful, Patricia is a wonderful support mechanism and presenter. So, and last but not least, Sarah and I are actually wearing our fearless, I can't get that, there we go, Fearless Independent shirts. And I'll put the shameless plug in for you, Delana. They are super comfortable shirts. I would encourage you to go to Delana's website. She has told me that they put in a brand new order in anticipation of the conference, people wanting to order shirts. So if you put in your order, it will be on back order and they'll get it to you. She was very prompt in getting to it, getting it back to me. And she even put a nice little note in there for me. So thank you, Delana. And then recently we learned, actually this morning we learned that she is featured in a Forbes magazine article about her. So we have recently, Sarah put that link in the chat room, and Danny is going to upload it to her profile. So without further ado, I am proud and honored to introduce Delana Parrish as our next keynote speaker. Take it away, Delana.
In the next few minutes, I'd like to invite you to follow along my pathway to a very special place that I inhabit. I call it my powerhouse. It can be found in the woods, in the city, in a tiny town. To build my powerhouse, I need three elements. I need a foundation, I need a mirror, and I need many, many doors. As I transition from that little child in early intervention who couldn't walk or talk to being voted best all-around girl in my senior class at Titusville High School, to graduating from a top 5 public university during COVID, to launching our own business, complete with clients. Most would agree that this would be challenging for someone with my level of impairment, and they would be right. Challenging, but possible. I cannot stress enough how vital a foundation of knowledge is for building up those with differences. From the second I was born, actually from the 11 minutes I was trying to survive without oxygen, my path was set. But what you see is not always what you get, and that can be a positive thing. I was, and still am, a warrior. From that moment on, my foundation was laid by a relentless family who never, ever gave up on my potential. To this day, they not only fought for what was owed me, but what I yearned for. Even if it was only my eyebrows that unveiled my true intentions. Families are the ones who see the light in their children, but you all may be the ones to flick on the switch to show them the bright side of moving forward, of transitioning. My family made sure my foundation was filled with advocates and therapists and teachers who empowered us with potential. But we were never shielded from the reality of the challenges of cerebral palsy. Not everyone was on board with my potential. Like that first IP when my mom told me they signed me up for a PE and art to integrate with my kindergarten class. Yay, like I could run or draw. To this day, I still can't sign my own name, but I have math skills in math, thanks to a patient teacher who taught me how to memorize numbers. We have found the math programs and accessible technology to be woefully inadequate, even to this day. Remember, in the earliest years, the encouragement of many of you is the most important and maybe the only encouragement for special needs families. Surrounding a child with an unwavering belief of possibility is the most crucial part of the Powerhouse Foundation. To you I say, help lay the foundation, but raise the roof while you're doing it. Lift up those families and help them believe that miracles can and do happen. Look to me for an example. Literally dead on arrival, failure to thrive, seizures, no words till I was 4, wheelchair driver, and needing assistance with many ADLs, but still, here I am talking to you about success. I know you believe in miracles too, or you wouldn't be at this conference today. There is another type of foundation for our powerhouse we need to address here in order to transition from one stage of development to the next. It's the foundation of acceptance, and it stands hand in hand with the foundation of knowledge. One of my earliest memories was going to pre-K in a reverse mainstream class. I got to mimic the able-bodied peers there who became my friends. Win-win from the start. From kindergarten on, I was mainstreamed in a typical classroom with a full-time aide, which I believe was crucial in exposing my personality to others and theirs to me. Like how arm wrestling with the boys in 3rd grade when the teacher left the room gave me street credibility. By high school, I was starting to get real competitive. I would actually rise up in my power chair to give Latin recitations in class. My blue-haired, multi-earring Latin partner taught me not to worry what anyone thought. That girl was great. Who understands Latin anyway? She pointed out. I especially liked it when my anatomy teacher in high school paired me with 3 cute guys on the football team. But guess who ended up doing the work? Most kids want to be a part of a group, and finding those opportunities of acceptance should be everyone's mission. Life happens on its own and friendships can't be forced. Empathy, however, can be taught. People with differences can be made to believe that they're lucky if they have any friends. There's truth in that sadness. But why can't the kid in a wheelchair keep score for the basketball team? Why can't the kid with autism be a cheerleader? Why can't the kid with cerebral palsy score a 33 on her CTs? Conversely, we have got to give typically developing kids a chance to rise up and be a friend. There will be heartaches and there will be loneliness, but acceptance of others must be planted before it can be erased. Bias, microaggression, discrimination, ableism. They were just not allowed anymore, period. So, now if you're ready for some self-reflection, let's walk a little further down the pathway to the powerhouse and look at, or rather into, my next essential element. The mirror. Acceptance actually begins with how we identify with ourselves. What we see when we look in the mirror. What do you see in yourself? I see a green-eyed blonde, a third-generation Gator who graduated from one of the best colleges in the country, and a business owner who likes iced dirty chai from Starbucks. I acknowledge the boundaries I have with cerebral palsy, but I know there are tools to help. I see a fierce advocate for my community and our allies. I see stubborn and confident and a problem solver. I see a fashion lover and a tech nerd. Oh, and I see a risk taker. I have flown airplanes, parasailed, indoor skydived, surfed, and spent my 21st birthday drinking wine through a straw in beautiful Napa Valley. Does any of that surprise you? Maybe that was the onset of fearless and independence. Like me, most young people transition back and forth into more than one identity. That's a good and natural thing to see ourselves in different ways. What is not helpful is for adults to push a student with unique abilities down a path they can or don't want to go, or don't want to stay. Place your kids, or even your adults, in front of a long mirror and ask them what they see. You might be surprised. Here's one way to help your clients and themselves. Convince them they can try and be many things. Just like their able-bodied peers, they can start down one path and then roll or walk over to another. If they just try, failure is an acceptable option. Living through learned experiences makes us interesting. So does failing. Just look at the books on the New York Times bestsellers list. Would you buy a self-help book from someone who didn't learn the hard way? Teach your kids and clients to recognize their DNA as who they are, and then affirm them that they have value. Every day before school, my mom challenged my brother, sister, and me to go out and make a difference in the world. No matter our capabilities, we each have a right to stare into our reflection and dream about whom we want to become. There are so many options for success today, and we have to embrace them all. The best gift you can give someone, anyone, is an opportunity. Every experience in school, from elementary through college, taught me the necessity to innovate as well as to see the big picture rather than the little issues. Ironically, my physical speaking voice is my greatest barrier, but through augmentative communication and eye gaze technology like this Tobii Dynavox, it has become my strength and a major part of my business. Finding advanced AAC devices in the school district and then training those SLPs was a major hurdle throughout school. Taking away someone's voice is like taking away their sight. We needed to process life around us. For my entire schooling, we tried many devices, but because of my fine motor limitations, I relied mostly on my educational assistants to scribe for me. That alone removes a sequence in the motor planning. It wasn't until my sophomore year in college that I finally got connected with the newest devices that Toby offers, and now I am one of their consultants, beta testers, and brand ambassadors. I love tech, and while do I have a lot of ideas for them. Besides the Dynavox, some of my tech includes my iPad with lots of apps, a MacBook, a second monitor, a mouse, an Apple Pen, Google Home, an accessible bathroom, my standing chair, an adaptive van, which now costs between $65,000 and $75,000, by the way. Yep, and I'm worth every penny. While you're still looking in the mirror with your clients, remember to be a friendly advocate of therapy. I attribute a lot of my stamina and health to years of physical, occupational, and speech therapies since I was 2 months old. For several sessions, I would live at the Ronald McDonald House in Orlando so I could go to intensive therapy 4 hours a day, 5 days a week, for 3 weeks straight. You go try that. Demand the best of your therapist. 2. I can say that because my sister is an awesome doctor of physical therapy and pediatrics at a major children's hospital. My worst nightmare was when she'd bring home her PT friends from college and they'd look at me like meat on a stick. If middle school is where we start to affirm good choices, it's also where we can really teach and learn about self-advocacy. My fears and dependence strengthened here because I did not like the aide they stuck me with at all. She was nice, but not a good match. I came home crying every single day off that bus. In high school, in spite of all of my parents' dialogues with the principal and preparing for my transition, in spite of all the IEPs, they assigned a nurse type with me who bragged she hadn't cracked a school book in 25 years. More tears, more teeth, wasted energy. We eventually got the right one, let me say the best one, for my last 3.5 years of high school. Getting the right aid is crucial for transition and stability, and they deserve our highest respect and even better pay. Just a note, too, about IPs. I'm pretty sure both my parents went to every single one, from kindergarten to senior year in high school. I know this can't always happen, but think about what you miss out on if you don't attend. IPs were a powerful force in my success, from which teachers to what therapy, to which goals I was working toward. I was fascinated by it all when I started attending around second grade. I knew when they missed the mark, or when someone was stretching the truth, or when my mom was really mad. Oh yeah, you can't pull the wool over kids' eyes, either. IPs should be a power tool in building the powerhouse. Your how-to guide. So now we've laid the foundation with knowledge and acceptance. We've looked with clear eyes into the mirror to accept our image. Now, lastly, we are ready to transition into our powerhouse with the final element. Doors. Doors lead everywhere. To a new school, to a new group of friends, to the next step in life or career. If you look through the front door, you're going to see many hallways leading to many doors. For a lot of kids with differences, that can be scary. For others, it's going to be like a new flavor of the month. One of my favorite memories in high school was taking a leap of faith through a new door. As a senior, I dared myself to interview for president of our new Best Buddies chapter, which pairs able-bodied students with disabilities in middle and high school. I got the job, and this leadership position was pivotal for my self-confidence. An especially powerful experience was being invited to attend the National Leadership Conference in Indiana with hundreds of other presidents from around the country. While there, I spent quality mentorship time with Best Buddies founder, Anthony Kennedy Shriver, who sought me out. He was intrigued that a club leader could also have a disability herself. Why not? I asked him. Ask your students. Why not? If they want to serve or volunteer alongside others, give them a chance to fill their hearts. It also relieves self-pity. Enter another pivotal moment that would probably impact my life more than any other class in high school. It wasn't the door to honors English or chemistry. It was the door to a popular elective called fashion design. I wish you could have seen the look on the teacher's face when we registered. Like, how the heck is this going to work? How can she sew? Little did I know that in her 20 years of teaching, she had never taught another, me. All I knew was that I loved fashion and wanted to learn more. My aide and the teacher were game to try with me, but how do you modify a sewing machine? We found out that I could press the foot pedal with my hands sitting atop the table, while my assistant fed the fabric through the sewing machine. Then I started sketching original designs on the floor on a big drawing pad. And then I began to alter existing patterns to fit my body type while in a seated position in my chair. Here's a photo of my senior prom dress that I designed, sourced, and made. What do you think? The teacher shared our unconventional successes at county resource meetings and encouraged other teachers to give it a try with non-traditional students. It was really, really fun, and it also utilized my math skills. Little did I know that what I was doing was called adaptive fashion, and it was a brand new movement gaining traction at that very moment in New York. Who knew what I was doing in an elective class in Little Titusville, Florida, was about to change my life and maybe my career? That's a whole other story, and I will talk briefly about it in a minute. Here is what I would say to college dreaming kids. You're going to have to work really, really hard, harder than everyone else, to get your unconventional mind or body to the door of higher education. That is never going to change, so either embrace it or choose a different door. It's going to take your whole team, plus each and every member of your family, to get you into the powerhouse. And then you're going to have to say goodbye to all the help and own up to your independence in college. College dreams are not for everyone, but dreams are, whatever that looks like to your students, not to their trends or their families or friends, but to them. I recognize the toll it took on my family's everyday life in K through 12, as they still had to scribe my answers, turn the pages, unless the book was audio, open my calendars, tend to my physical needs, everything. But I wanted it so badly that the desire for college trumped everything. It was the old foundation of possibility kicking in, along with that mostly confident, but sometimes wavering self-image in the mirror. My family and I started the process of preparing for college quite early, in my sophomore year, really, and I would suggest this to every student who will need accommodations. My dad, mom, grandfather, and brother and sister were all Gator grads, so I begged for us to take a campus visit. We made an appointment at the Disability Resource Center, a great starting point for all your students. Was it even possible, I asked? Of course it was, I was told. But I was reminded that because of the competitive acceptance rate, grades and test scores were extremely important, as were community activities and leadership, and that all-important essay. Yet another reason for encouraging volunteering and activities in high school. The best colleges today expect their students to make a difference in the world, but I already knew that mattered. Oh, and before I left that day, I learned that UF was in the process of building a state-of-the-art dorm that would be completely ADA compliant. That's all I needed to hear. Vocational rehab didn't enter the picture until my senior year, which was unfortunate because I yearned for a way to have a summer job in high school. But once on board, they offered substantial financial support for college, along with other scholarships and bright futures, for which we are eternally grateful. As influential as VR is in the life of a college student, I was surprised to learn there isn't more assistance in job searching post-college for higher achieving graduates. I suggest it's a space rife with opportunity to build connections among their student clients, corporations, and career offices at colleges. Other than VR, my transition was really just accomplished with my family, my IEP case manager, and the guidance counselors at school, who were always busy, but always supportive. My senior year, I submitted applications and all those essays to Stetson, Florida Atlantic University, UCF, which was my second choice, and UF. I had also visited and loved SCAD in Savannah and Atlanta for their fashion design programs, but sadly the cost of personal supports outside of Florida would have been prohibitive. I was blessed to gain admittance, with scholarships, to all 4 colleges. I was graduating in the top 7% of my class of 350. My hard work had earned me entry to another door. But then came the tough questions for decision day. Should I live at home and commute to college with an aide? Could I maintain the rigorous schedule physically? Could I even live on my own? Could I find personal care assistants in college? Would they be old? How would I navigate a larger campus if I moved 2 or more hours away? Who would repair my wheelchair or technology if they broke down? And those were before the academic questions. No doubt, this transitioning thing was going to be a big deal, no matter where I went. We took out stacks of poster paper, listing pros and cons of each school, and taped them all over the house. Every day there were new questions. Transportation, support from the Disability Resource Center, medical care, cost of assistance, accommodations, living environment, college life, social life, and on and on. I would need every bit of assistance from those academic scholarships, 100% bright futures, vocational rehab, Medicaid, Med waiver, and everywhere else we could find to cover all the regular college expenses plus 24 hours of personal care assistance. After a lot of prayer and research, we decided the University of Florida would be my choice, and vocational rehab was on board. We were truly grateful for their support with this decision. We knew my college experience would be like no one else's in my family. Since I would be living away from home for the first time ever, the quest for PCAs was of primary importance. We spent much of the summer before that first semester interviewing candidates through an agency well established in Alachua County. They were looking to branch out to assist college students who would primarily be living in the new dorm called Cypress Hall. With intensive training from my mom, we gathered a staff of about 8 rotating PCAs for the PD-approved 24/7 care. That of course changed each and every semester through trial and error. A lot of trial and error. At first, my mom considered renting an apartment there, but really we just had to let the process work itself out. But I will say we are very proud that as we helped reinvent what the PCA system looks like at UF, we ditched the traditional model of PCAs and recruited peer-age helpers who were often in need of both money and hours of experience before applying to the plethora of medical programs on campus, like OT or PT school or peer programs. Student caregiving is now the accepted norm at Cypress Hall, and we love that that continues. To reiterate, support services will always have its kinks, so families must be prepared to pitch in. On the plus side, hiring and managing staff gave me experience into real-world employment in a very unique way. When I came to UF, I immediately discovered that there was a large disability presence on campus, and that caused a pivotal change in my own perspective on disability. The college environment ignited a passion for advocacy that expanded to other students whose disabilities were often hidden. With the help of the DRC, we formed a sanctioned, student-led organization called Disability Ambassadors, which educated our entire campus, especially other student-led organizations. For example, how can you recruit new students if none of the recruiters have differences, or if the tours use stairs? Throughout my 4 years at UF, I ran for student senate, but they gave it to an able-bodied pre-law student, of course. I was accepted into 2 leadership programs in the business school and eventually became a rights scholar, one of only 25 students per year who were chosen by the dean of students. Here is what college does. It offers up opportunity. It connects to the foundation of knowledge and possibility and acceptance. It shines a light on your identity and moves you into the next phase of career and adulthood. One of the major draws to the University of Florida, besides the obvious, was their new dorm called Cypress Hall, one of the most innovative ADA dorms in the country. It was also used as a refuge during the 2 hurricanes I experienced while living there. The top 3 floors are open for any students and are in high demand. It's also connected, literally, to the Disability Resource Center, which was nice that it only took me 30 seconds after a long exam to reach my food, Netflix, and bed. The 3 most important things to any college student. My room was a really great smart room, where everything is automated at the touch of a finger. From a designated iPad that sits beside my bed for easy access to lights and doors and window shades to a camera to show who is at my door. Many offer the Sure Lift system, but I didn't use mine. All rooms on the first floor are private with a shared large and fully accessible bathroom, complete with heated bidet. My corner room view to the entrance of campus and sorority row was always, shall we say, entertaining. Most college campuses have a disability resource center, which offer myriad support services. Their expertise is crucial to students with unique needs and should be a major factor in deciding which college a student attends. The director and staff will literally be your best friends and liaison between academic support, testing, professors, technology, and labor career centers. With that said, even when it all seems right on a Monday, on Tuesday students will find there are still gaps in the system. By Wednesday, you will want to go home, but by Friday, things will be better. Students must realize this is not high school, where other people might solve their problems. In college, students must seek out their own resolutions to their own unique situations, because no one is going to spoon feed them to you. Let me give you an example of what testing can be like. As I entered my upper division courses, they of course involved much more complicated mathematics like financial accounting, business finance, and supply chain management. The exam experience was becoming a nightmare. True, the DRC had provided a scribe for my classes, whom I always attended with in person, but the scribe for testing might be someone totally different. None had a business background or could relate to the complexity of the questions. Add these formulas and math into my Delana language. Throw in my aide who was translating my speech, a proctor from afar, then place a wheelchair and 2 other people in a very small testing room with a difficult test, and what do you get? And oh, did I mention my exams would last anywhere from 3 to 8 hours? Yet that was my reality. Needless to say, I developed bad testing anxiety, and no matter how many hours I studied, I continued to be disappointed with the results when analytics were involved. So, when it was time to take the notorious business finance exam, I knew I needed to figure out a solution for testing. I was already paying for a teaching assistant or a TA to be my tutor, so when I approached the DRC about utilizing her as a scribe for my exam, they insisted it could give me an unfair advantage and violate their policy. Keep in mind, all tests are proctored. Frustrated, I explained the situation to my finance professor, and he agreed that it was a novel idea, yet he trusted that a TA in the exam would provide an acceptable level of fairness to succeed in his advanced class. The logic was that TIs knew the material and the methods to solving the problems, which meant, despite the communication barrier, she could understand my intentions and strategies without providing unfair support. This strategy would also eliminate any interruption of my motor planning when solving exam questions that often required 2 full sheets of paper per question. In this case, my professor overruled the DRC, and I succeeded as a result, passing his class with a glorious B. Sometimes you have to take a sledgehammer to the old foundation and lay down a fresh layer of dirt. The last transition in college would be the doors to recruitment and employment. I addressed this experience in detail with the TEDxUF talk I was privileged to give in 2020, specifically on why businesses must address disability inclusion and diversity inclusion. I believe Cameron listed a link to it in my bio. My resume was as impressive as any of my peers in marketing from a top 5 business school. I had a good GPA. I earned 2 minors in entrepreneurship and retailing. I was an innate problem solver. So what was next? During campus events, I found most corporate recruiters were undeniably skeptical of a speech disorder or really any visible differences. I attributed this to them being unprepared or undereducated or even unwilling to realize the benefits of hiring people with disabilities. There were meetups and interviews, but no offers. This challenged me and other disability ambassadors to create panel discussions, both live and by Zoom, to corporate headquarters to analyze the situation. In fact, I was in Silicon Valley last March, waiting to attend a week of intensive entrepreneurial and recruiting events with my class when COVID hit. It was canceled, and within 1 week, we flew home. I gathered my belongings for what I thought was a 2-week stint, and gloomily realized my college career was going to end in my living room. My mom scribed my final 4 classes, and we all learned on Zoom with our professors. Like all other COVID graduates across the world, I heard my name read over my laptop while we popped champagne. Our fingers are crossed though. I am finally scheduled to walk with my class this May in Gainesville. You better believe I will be there. For the past year, while COVID rage and employment possibilities seemed limited, I chose a different door. I opted to spend all those indoor days fully establishing the mission of our business, Fearless Independence. At its inception in 2009, it was launched to build upon an entirely new and exciting market within the fashion industry called adaptive fashion, as well as my small e-commerce business that featured our brand. I would be pleased for you to visit my site after the conference to support our mission of inclusion by fashionable shirts for men, women, and now children. My first identity of adaptive design and fashion was birthed in that little elective class in my little high school. Who knew it would take me to the showrooms of New York with a personal invitation from Mega Mentor barber Bradley Beckgard, founder of Very Bradley, whom I met at a UF event, or to the runway in Manhattan modeling Tommy Hilfiger with Runway of Dreams in front of 600 industry executives, designers, and press. We knew I would be invited to the headquarters of Zappos in Las Vegas to learn firsthand how their new line of adaptive apparel was hitting the market. I am here to tell you that anything is possible if you work hard enough, dream big enough, and have the support and encouragement from professionals like you. Our mission at Fearless Independence has evolved to include exciting opportunities in consulting for technology, as with Toby Dynavox and others, experiential advising for construction projects, public speaking, brand influencing, and employment strategizing. It's an exciting period in our business as we are strategically building our brand as a closely held business. My extremely talented family members add value in marketing, healthcare, and finance as full business partners, and still as my caregivers. I believe we offer uniquely relevant experience with our client-centered mission to open the door to understanding with a process called Accessibility Plus, diving deeper into the social/emotional, environmental, and physical barriers beyond what is currently defined by law. In the next 5 years, our plan is to continue to grow the consultancy where we can make the most impact advocating for diversity, equity, and inclusion for those of all abilities. As the workplace finds a new equilibrium post-pandemic, the voice of the disability community will be critical in its reshaping. I believe we all believe this. No two doors will look the same to our diverse community, but if we look with honesty and confidence at our images in the mirror, if we lay down a foundation of knowledge and acceptance, then a powerhouse big enough for all can be built. From the bottom of my heart, I thank you for listening to the story of my many transitions. May God bless you all as you pursue this most important work.
So Delana, you are amazing. I fully expect you to run for office at some point, and hopefully it's within my lifetime. Thank you for a truly amazing message and being who you are. You're awesome. So if you were following along in the chat room, as I'm sure your mom and you guys were, there were so many wonderful comments. I did want to say that I neglected to say at the beginning that we are not taking questions. We actually met with Delana and her mom previous to the conference and presented a few questions that the board came up with. And she beautifully infused those into her presentation. So, but Delana did want me to point out that all her contact information is here, and she would be happy to field questions if you want to email her or send her those personally. So thank you, Delana. I'll turn it back over to Freddie, and thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So we're going to begin a long honored tradition. Rarely do individuals in the field of transition get recognized, and the Florida Division on Career Development and Transition has a long-standing tradition of honoring and recognizing and celebrating our own with a plaque and a small monetary award for their hard work and dedication. So it's about time we recognize our own, and I'm glad we've done this throughout the years. This is my 14th Visions Conference. This would have been, with COVID throwing things off, Cannon's would have been the 27th, and mine this year is the 28th Visions Conference. There are 2 awards that we give out. This first one was created, the Patrick Mulvihill Making a Difference Award was created during Carly's presidency. And Pat is the godfather, I like to call, of transition. Let me go ahead and talk a little bit about Pat before we go into the award. Patrick is currently retired after working for 45 years in Broward County Public Schools, the Transition Center at UF, and for Project 10 as a regional transition representative. But he's been a member of Florida Development and Transition. Sorry, Danny, we didn't miss it. We're going to do that after the awards. We're going to do the sponsor after the awards. Sorry. We're going to do the awards and then do the sponsor. I think is the order that we're going to do it, just so that we can get the awards in. So Patrick is, like I call him, the godfather of transition, and that's why the board elected during Carly's presidency to name an award after him, the Patrick Mulvihill Making a Difference Award. And then Pat will be doing the Deborah Husted award after Sarah and I go through the awards. So have we switched over to Donna's PowerPoint? So Sarah is going to be presenting with me. Sarah is your president-elect for the Florida Division on Career Development and Transition. She's also, her regular job is the coordinator for Fiddler State Administration Project as the virtual learning coordinator. Sarah has worked directly with transition students for the past 15 years in classrooms and transition programs. She's a good friend of mine, so she's going to be presenting the awards with me. And there should be a sound effect, or there's not. We're going to go yay, and the nominees are. So every year we are amazed and impressed by the above and beyond work ethic we see in the nominees, and this year was no exception. Without taking anything away from those who won the award or the award recipients, the merit of all nominees for 2021 was remarkable. Before we announce this year's award winners, we're going to review who was nominated. They're just as important because we rarely get recognized in the field of transition. And the nominees are Advanced International Certificate Education ACE Program for Bay High School. I wish we could cheer. I wish we were in the audience, in an audience setting. Amanda Agner, I hope I'm saying it right, the staffing specialist with Madison County School District. Yay. Linda Andrews, transition program facilitator for Santa Rosa School District. She's recently retired. Yay, Linda. Maya Bird, she's a student at Clay High School. Burlington, I think it's Burlington Coat Factory. Michael Tutora, manager, and it's a store in Orange County, or a bunch of stores in Orange County, was also a nominee. Taekwon Carol Rodriguez, a student at School District of Lee County. Garrett Copeland, a teacher at the United Team Basketball Coach, School District of Lee County. David Crease, Exceptional Student Education ESE Instructor at Orange County Public Schools. Oh, yay, this is a friend of mine. Debbie E is like we like to call her. ESE Specialist, Broward County Public Schools, and she's also a board member of Florida DCDT. Oh my gosh, it's Lori Gilbert. She has also recently retired. She's a program staffing specialist, or was, at Lake County Public Schools. And if we were in the audience, everybody from Lake County would be cheering right now. And Lori, I text her and she joined us. So Christina Miranda Gilson, HDS Foundation Board of Directors, Chairman and President in Miami. Kelby Griffin, a student at Clay County School District. Robert Grimolini, I hope I'm not butchering these names, Vice President of Employment Services at Brevard Achievement Center. Brevard Achievement Center is awesome too. We see the great work they do around the state. Doris Hernandez, Teacher Support Facility, Broward County Public Schools. Ruth Holland, Secondary Transition Teacher, Monroe County School District. And Ruth's a good friend of mine as well. Kimberly Lowe, Instructor at Clay County School District. Jennifer Mackler, Staffing Specialist, School District of Lee County. Rise Coffee Company and Nye's Cream, Beaver Shriver and Christina Nye, Sarasota. Amy Salomon, Teacher, Department Chair, Access Program, ATC. Mindy Sherman, Transition Specialist, Broward County Public Schools. Noah Walker, Director of Marketing at HCA Healthcare. So drum roll, please. Here are the winners. for 2021 for the Patrick Mulvihill Making a Difference Award. Sorry, I'm catching up with my notes. Our first Making a Difference recipient has been working as an advocate for students in transition services. I hope I have the right. Donna, help me out. Am I on the right one? I knew this wasn't going to go off without a hitch. As an advocate for students in transition services, they need for more than a decade and has spent 36.5 years in exceptional student education. She has tripled the number of PACE labs in Santa Rosa County, created an additional site skill transition program, and helped to increase the IEP compliance rate to 100%. Some of her accomplishments include connecting the transition collaboration that meets regularly and offers quarterly events for transition, collaborated with VR and APD. So we are awarding Linda Andrews with the Making a Difference Award in the lives of your students. Thank you, Linda. I don't like how we can't applaud. Anybody got, you can use the emojicons. This is just better done live. The award celebration, sorry, it's just better done live, people. Congratulations, Linda. Our next Making a Difference Award recipient is an effective teacher who sets clear and fair expectations, differentiates lessons, and remains aware and sensitive to the spectrum of cultural and intellectual diversity within his classes. The teacher supports students as they complete their community-based work experience and is a resource to the host businesses. He coaches the unified basketball team with skill and enthusiasm. This nominee is a humorous, genuine servant, leader, and a role model for both students and his peers. Garrett Copeland, we would like to recognize you for making a difference in the lives of your students and your community. Thank you, Garrett. Applause. Sarah, I think you're next.
Thank you, Freddie. Our third Making a Difference Award recipient is a member of the community whose distinguished role at local foundation enables the Cypress Bay High School and ESE department to fund classes for students to learn personal skills and social skills that are vital to a healthy and successful transition to adult life. These skills include learning to open bank accounts, conversational skills, problem solving, perspective taking, budgeting, negotiation, and more. In addition to monetary support, this community member and the organization she represents support the virtual classes and attend school activities such as Halloween car parade, virtual homecoming and spirit week, and the secret elf gift exchange. They further support the parents by arranging virtual conferences and workshops on post-secondary topics and speakers. Christina Gilson and the HDS Foundation have become an integral part of providing a unique, one-of-a-kind experiences for the students at Cypress Bay High School. Christina Gilson, we would like to recognize you and the HDS Foundation for making a difference in the lives of your students in your community. Thank you, Christina. If you would like to use your emoticons to go ahead and give Christina a round of applause for your cameras. Thank you. Our next Making a Difference Award recipient is an ESE staffing specialist who also specializes in keeping the best interest of the students as a primary focus. She attends school events to watch the students excel in their areas of interest. She cheers them on and celebrates every victory. Between classes, you can frequently find her in the hallways just to connect with students. Her dedication is not just to the students, but also the staff. As a staffing specialist, she provides support to those at her assigned school and others across other schools in the district. New ESE staff find that she's organized, experienced, and a caring mentor who continues to provide support through the staff member's tenure. She is a Best Buddies advisor, serving on the Best Buddies Board of Director and assisting students in their activities. The ESE staffing specialist really shines in the IEP meetings she attends and leads. She seamlessly interacts with students, parents, teachers, administrators, and other stakeholders to problem solve and determine what will be best for the students. Her warm, friendly, positive, and engaging personality set the tone for all the many IEP meetings in which she is involved. As one of her support letters said, Jennifer loves what she does and we love her back. Jennifer Mackler, we would like to recognize you for making a difference in the lives of your students and your community. Thank you, Jennifer. If you'd like to use your emoticons, I see a lot of comments going. Congratulations, Jennifer. Our final Making a Difference Award recipient is a business, a coffee and ice cream shop where focus is inclusion, acceptance, and opportunity for all. The shop hires individuals with intellectual and physical disabilities, giving them a chance to join a workforce with a supportive and inclusive environment. Employees not only earn a wage, but will learn life and social skills imperative to building their independence. The shop is operated on the premise of inclusion, jobs, and dignity. The shop has already hired 35 individuals from the Sarasota community. Each employee underwent a traditional job interview and has gone through training to learn how to operate coffee makers, put together orders, work the register, complete simple baking, and of course, making ice cream. The shop partnered with a virtual reality company, which created a coffee shop simulation for employees to continue practicing their skills while quarantined during the COVID-19 pandemic. Students feel valued and included through secure jobs that support meaningful friendships, independent living, and the development of self-advocacy and communication skills. The shop also educates the community by opening eyes, hearts, and minds to what individuals with disabilities can accomplish. Christian Nye and Beaver Shriver, we would like to recognize you and the Rise and Nye's Coffee and Creamery Shop for making a difference in the lives of Sarasota students and your community. Many thanks to both of you. Go ahead and pause if you'd like to give you a round of applause. Congratulations to all of our award winners. I'm now going to hand it over to Patrick Mulvihill. He will announce the Deborah Husted Dreams Can Come True Memorial Award recipients.
And I think what we're going to do too is, because I don't know, it's just kind of odd doing the awards this way for me. I think we are going to try to turn on our mics after Pat's done so that we can celebrate all the nominees with real live applause.
Thank you, Freddie. I guess I'm a godfather now, right?
That's right. The godfather.
You can't refuse, right?
That's right.
I'm honored to be able to give out the Deborah Husted Awards. Many of you that are here today probably don't remember Deborah. She was a transition specialist that worked out of Okaloosa County. At the time, I was the transition specialist in Broward County. We met at a Visions conference, and this is one of the important things that we're not really able to do at this conference, but we have at past conferences, is to network. She became a network buddy of mine, and we would meet at Visions conference and then talk about things over the phone after the conference about how we're going to implement some of the ideas that we learned when we were at the conference. Deborah was a very strong proponent of teaching our students self-advocacy skills. She worked diligently with the Transition Center at the University of Florida to develop training on the Dare to Dream book. And so one of those things, and that our previous speaker talked about, Dare to Dream, getting our students to dream, to figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to do it, and how to become part of the employment avenue, employment culture, and be able to enjoy the full benefits of that. One of the things that she said at one time that really stuck in my head is, when we get the kids employed, they're going to be going to happy hour with their friends and coworkers, and they need to be able to tell the bartender that they want Bud or Bud Lights. That's an important self-advocacy skill for them. All right, at that, let me go ahead and start talking about the award. There are two awards associated with the Deborah Husted Dreams Can Come True. The first award is for an outstanding high school student, senior with disabilities, who will be graduating or exiting school this year and entering into a post-secondary education or training, the military, or a job who will benefit from this award. This person must exemplify the values of tenacity, caring, belief in their ability to succeed, and show involvement beyond the usual circle of a student's life. The second award is for an outstanding educator who provides exemplary transition services to his or her students with disabilities. This person must exemplify the values of tenacity, caring, belief in the ability of individuals with disabilities, and show involvement beyond the usual circle of a person's life. Both of these award winners will receive a plaque and a check for $500. It is an honor and a privilege to announce the Deborah Houston Dreams Can Come True Award for the outstanding high school student. This student is very active in Clay High School, FFA, serving on the officers team as a student advisor and vice president. She has earned her state degree in FFA, which is the highest level she can earn as a high school student. Additionally, she has completed the 4-year veterinary assistant program. She has participated in the swine program through the Clay County Fair since 2017 and continues with beef production and showing beef heifers to help pay for her college. She is a member of Beta Club and the Junior Cattlemen's Association. This young woman is a 4-year varsity soccer player and strong leader of her team. She has received the Coaches Award 3 years out of 4 years, and she has played at Clay High School. She is dependable, honest, and uplifting to her coach and teammates. Kelly Griffin, we would like to recognize and honor you with the Deborah Houston Dreams Can Come True Outstanding High School Student Award. Congratulations, Kelby. Yay. Where's my emoticon? Applause, applause, applause. Our final award for the 2021 Visions Conference is the Deborah Houston Dreams Can Come True Outstanding Educator in Transition Award. This secondary transition teacher has spent over 35 years dedicated to students with disabilities transitioning into the workforce. She focuses on helping the whole student to find joy, fulfillment, and satisfaction in life. In 2005, she collaborated with the Monroe County School District's Vocational Rehabilitation, the United States Naval, off through Sigley Naval Base, and other community partners to found the Transition to Independence, Employment, and Success program for students who defer receipt of their high school diploma and remain in school until age 22. Students develop specific job skills and soft skills through internships, apprenticeships in the community. When a student exits the program, they are prepared to be successful in the work environment. This secondary transition teacher is known for stating, the day before the student's 22nd birthday should feel just like the day after the 22nd birthday. Seamless transition into the community. An example of her dedication to student success is evident in her certification areas. In addition to certifications in specific learning disabilities, autism, and educational leadership, she also acquired certification in driver's education. With this last certification, she is enabled not only to help students with disabilities to find and keep a job, but also to teach them to drive themselves to work. This educator's commitment to her students does not end in the classroom. Her involvement with Special Olympics helps students build self-confidence as athletes and helps them to connect with other young adults who have exited the school system. Don't be surprised if you see her running fundraisers on the weekend for the Special Olympics. Her superintendent remembers driving by the car wash site on one busy day, thinking that the car wash would be canceled because it was raining. But Ruth and her team were there in the rain washing cars. Another supporter recalls how Ruth puts extra effort into all of her endeavors. During the periods of virtual instruction, she brings a smile to everyone's face with their daily virtual dance parties. Are we going to get to see a dance party right now, Ruth? Finally, we join with a statement in one of her support letters. It is difficult to encapsulate the many ways Ruth has positively impacted the lives of students in one letter. So we must use this award to more adequately speak for us. Ruth Holland, we would like to recognize and honor you with Deborah Houston Dreams Can Come True Outstanding Educator in Transition Award. Congratulations, Ruth.
Awesome.
Congratulations to all of our nominees and award recipients. You have touched the lives of so many. Thank all of you for your service.
So what's going to happen is the award winners will be receiving a plaque. The Patrick Mulvihill Making a Difference Award nominees are also, Carly, help me out, is it $100?
Yes.
It's $100. And then the Deborah Houston is $500 for the student and for the educator. Can we take it off the PowerPoint real quick? And can we do a round of applause? I just think awards are done better in person because we can give standing ovations. We can, you know, celebrate them really loudly. Can we unmute everybody just for a second and remute them, or is that too complicated, Danny?
No, everyone can unmute themselves. So please.
For all our nominees and winners.
Congratulations.
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 Great job.
Yay.
Good job.
Good job.
Good job. Woohoo.
Woohoo.
I hope next year we're in a big ballroom where we can do this right, guys. This is the best we could do in a virtual setting, and I am so truly honored that we recognize these individuals for all their hard work, So up next, we're going to have another message from one of our sponsors, and I want you all to listen up. This is Family Network on Disabilities. It's their trust program. It's Nelson Perez. He's the senior trust advisor. In his capacity as senior trust advisor, Nelson is in constant point of contact for their beneficiaries, their attorneys, structure brokers, from pre-consultation to implementation. Nelson's extensive knowledge of trust administration affords their clients the peace of knowing they are in capable, compassionate hands. So Nelson, are you with us with Family Network on Disability?
I'm here. Good morning,
Awesome.
everyone. Number one, I wanted to say thank you for having me. This is my first time participating in this conference, and what an inspiring message from our keynote, Delana, and then the award winners, just how inspiring they are and the impact they have in students' lives every single day. It's really just an incredible, inspiring message. So thank you for allowing me to participate. As far as trust services are concerned, what is that? So we administer what we call special needs trusts. So we have multiple trusts, individual special needs trust, pooled special needs trust, and what we call our family pooled fund. So these are excellent planning tools for persons who may be on government benefits or transitioning into government benefits. If you know or don't know, when you have government benefits, if you have over a certain asset or income limit, you can be disqualified from your benefits. So what these trusts allow you to do is if somebody gets a legal award or has too much income, or is getting some kind of money from a family member or something in a will or in an insurance, they can deposit into these trusts and still preserve their government benefits. So I just kind of wanted to go over briefly the two main differences. We have a pool trust, and that's called a D4C trust. That's the statute it comes from. And what that allows you to do, it's called a first party trust. So you can deposit your own money into that trust and still maintain your government benefits. A family pool trust is called a third party trust. And that's more if you have a family who wants to plan maybe to leave life insurance money to a family member, or other family members want to do the same. They would use what's called a third party trust. And again, money can be deposited into those trusts and maintain government benefits. So that would be the main reason for setting up a special needs trust. We administer these every single day. We have over, probably by number, 1,000 trusts we administer on any given day. Not just myself, but we have a whole team that does these. We answer questions with families, with attorneys, with structure brokers, with everyone every single day. We try to be as compassionate and caring as we can with our distribution model. So we believe in, some core, things that we apply to the trust services every single day. Number one is transparency. We want our beneficiaries and families to know what's in these trusts, their balances, the distributions at all times. So we provide online access, we provide monthly and quarterly statements, we provide an annual accounting, so the information is always there and it's always being reported. We also pride ourselves in giving everyone either one single point of contact and most likely 2 points of contact. So that way, if there's ever a question about their trust, they can always get a live person on the phone. They're not put into, a phone bank system or a message system. And most phone calls and emails are returned either the same business day or within 24 hours. And we also want the client's beneficiaries to have as much enjoyment out of their money as possible. So we try to make distribution decisions within 24 to 48 hours and make sure they get their money when they need it in the manner they need it while still protecting their government benefits. I know probably most of you in here know about FND. FND has been a nonprofit since 1985. FND Trust Services, or Family Network for Special Needs Trust Administration, is what we used to be called, has been around since 1999. So we've been providing these services to clients, for 2 decades now. That's really it. I just kind of wanted to go over the basics. We try to be as efficient and timely as possible with everything. If you have any questions, if you have any students who are going to be transitioning into government benefits, or you have students on government benefits right now, and you have some questions on trust, what trust would apply, what to do, how can I help them? Myself or any member of our staff are always willing to help. And I just thank you for the time, and I really appreciate being here. And I'll actually see everyone later today at 1:30 as well.
Great job. Thank you so much, Nelson. I want to reiterate our thanks to Family Network on Disabilities, as well as Family Network on Disabilities Trust Services, for your support for this year's conference. Thank you so much, guys. So moving right along with our program, I also want to, Donna, I want a favor. Can you unmute your mic for a second? The write-ups on the award winners, is there any way we can give them a copy of those write-ups, like the write-ups that we read, that Sarah and I read? Awesome, because I think that will mean a lot to them as well, hearing what others had to say about them. So like maybe through either their email address or the email of the people that nominated the summaries of what we read, what Sarah and I read and what Pat read. Thank you. Okay, the next long honored tradition is for the current president, which is myself, to honor the past presidents of Florida Division on Career Development and Transition. And what was kind of different this year is Cannon wasn't able to have a conference in 1920, so he couldn't honor Carly. So I'm honoring both of them this year, which is awesome, because I get to honor both Carly and Cannon. Carly was president in 1819 and Cannon was president in 1920, and it's a long honored tradition. And once again, we're not in person, so I can't hold up an award, or I don't have an award. Plus, the bad part is Carly's treasurer this year and has to order her own little plaque as president. But another EmojiCon applause, I guess, to honor both these past presidents for the Florida Division on Career Development and Transition. We truly, truly appreciate them. And I think I do have sound effects, so you have a fake applause going on there, Carly and Cannon. So now for our closing remarks. And those closing remarks are done by, every year it's done by the vice president, and that's Dr. Tara Rowe. She's our vice president for the Florida Division on Career Development and Transition. She is the director of Thrive, a support program for students with autism at the University of North Florida. Dr. Rowe holds a doctorate in educational leadership and teaches as an adjunct instructor in the College of Education, specifically in disability services. She's constantly offering students extra credit for becoming a member of the Florida Division on Career Development and Transition. So if her students can become members, so can you. And loves spending time with the students who are starting their own journey in the profession we all love. Dr. Rowe grew up in Canada and spent years teaching, living and teaching in overseas places like Australia, Indonesia, Thailand, and even in Kenya before moving to Florida to finish her degree in education. So we're going to hear some wonderful words from Dr. Rowe to close out the morning, and then you're going to head off to your breakout sessions in the afternoon, and then we have tomorrow's closing keynote and more breakout sessions in the morning. So look at your event Mobi agenda. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you, Freddie, for your kind words. Would it be okay if I screen shared? It says that I can't. Yeah, there we go. Just because I think it'll be good. All right. Well, thank you, Freddie, for your kind words. I am lucky because in the past, when the VP has given a speech, it's been pretty, in front of everybody at the very end of a session. I think I'm lucky because I can have my notes right up in front of me and it looks like I'm just saying all this from the heart and that I haven't been worried and stressing and trying to prepare for this. But one of the things, and I'm going to minimize because I get really distracted when I see myself and see people. So I'm just going to that's why I wanted to screen share. It's been a challenging and difficult year. And one of the only things that has gotten us through this year has been Freddie's sense of humor and honesty. So thank you, Freddie. As I was preparing what to share for today, I was looking back on the past topics and the different speeches given by past presidents, and most of them have focused on the conference theme. And since I wasn't really sure if this would be the most appropriate, our unofficial conference theme, and really just the past year in a nutshell, I think that what I wanted to do was more focus on some of the reasons why we are board members, why we join Florida DCDT. And, oh, hang on, I need to get my memberships back up. I've got great links all ready to, there we go. So really what I wanted to do is I'm going to share a little bit, and I wanted to have the primary purposes of Florida Division on Career Development and Transition right there at the forefront as we're sharing. And the reason being is because one of the charges that FLDCDT has is to hold an annual conference. And it's really important that we have this conference every year, regardless of what's going on. And this past year was no different. So when COVID hit, our board continued to meet and plan and try and figure out a way to ensure that we were able to find somehow some miracle way of just having our Visions Conference. Working in the field of transition, particularly for individuals with disabilities, is often draining, disheartening, definitely underpaying, and can feel like a constant uphill marathon race with no finish line in sight. Not to mention the relentless reminders of being alone in your struggles and frustrations and feeling like you need help, but you don't have resources to seek or even know where to start. This past year saw more announced retirements, medical leave, and position changes than I've ever cared to see and would ever care to see again. The Visions Conference, though, is our way of being there for each other, where we can spend time sharing best practices and what strategies are working for us in our schools and districts. And by doing that, we lift each other up. By sharing our lessons learned, we spare others from making the same mistakes we have, or we find ways to save time, something no teacher seems to have enough of. So while we were planning for this conference, I actually polled and asked our board why. Why did you join Florida DCDT, and why do you continue to be a member? And the response of every single one except one, and then in a roundabout way was that one, we all said networking and the opportunity to collaborate with others who are passionate about transition. And that is exactly what's happened over the past year. As a board member and member of FLDCDT, I was able to reach out and ask Danny, how was she continuing to support students with intellectual and developmental disabilities at USF St. Pete? And the best part about that, we were able to share and be there for each other. When trying to figure out how to use social media as a platform to stay connected to others in different areas of transition, there was Sarah with her infinite patience and organizational skills. And even when trying to navigate the Event Mobi app, there was Joe with his awesome memes and constant ways to find humor in all things, for me, technologically frustrating. The fact is, there's honestly no other organization in the state that thrives and builds off of collaboration and the lifting up of others. Instead of feeling like you have to compete for recognition, Florida DCDT celebrates every one of us, regardless of our settings and positions. Some of our board are retired and some work in universities, while others work in nonprofit organizations and some for the Department of Ed. We have some that are in business and others right there in the front lines of classrooms teaching. That's the most beautiful part about Florida DCDT, is that there's a place for each and every one of us, regardless of our roles and where in Florida we call home. With a shared passion for transition, we support and hold one another up, and it's for this very reason that I am incredibly proud to be a member of our Florida DCDT board. When I look at our board, and here's where I'll switch over, not to my picture, but to, this is on our general website, but here's our board. These are our titans of transition. This is what I like to refer to us as. When I look at these titans of transition in professionals, and I see some of the most passionate individuals I've ever known, I also see my friends that support me and share in the same vision that we all have to promote successful transition for individuals with exceptionalities. I see that, well, and I love that no matter where I might find myself in Florida, if it's in South Florida with Deb O, we call her the OG of membership recruitment, or if I'm in Orange County where Cannon calls home, or even in St. Pete where a cold beer will always be found with Danny. I have friends that I can connect with and support that I can reach out to for help. I truly hope that as we begin planning for the next year of visions, that you might consider joining us as a member of Florida DCDT. If you're not sure what that might include or what might be expected, that's okay. I didn't know what I was getting into either, but here I am 9 years later after Deb O asked me to come to a membership meeting and I went. If you're not sure, join us on Wednesday morning when we share about FLDCDT membership. Join us and let us hear some of your ideas and questions as we continue to plan for a brighter future together. When we're looking at next year's Visions Conference and the areas of pursuit and best practices to follow, I know firsthand that it takes an entire village to pull off a conference. Whether it's face-to-face or virtually, we need everybody on board. This is where we need you. We need your help in identifying what gaps we're seeing in the classroom and what changing needs you might be emerging in the workplace setting. The bottom line is that we need you. So in closing, I wanted to stop for a moment and thank Freddie again for boldly leading our board and our entire organization into uncharted waters as a fearless president. It's because of Freddie's relentless hard work that we're here today and have the opportunity to share, connect, and support one another in the field of transition. And for Sarah, our next president, I am beyond excited to see where this next year leads us. Thank you for your time and for taking just being here. I think this is the most important thing, is that we're here and that we're engaged. And if you want to get to know our executive board, it's actually right here in the conference app. If you click on the executive board bios and intros, you'll actually be taken right here where we've all included our little intros and videos online for you to go in and meet us. So please make sure to check them out and get to know our executive board. That's all I have. I don't know, Freddie, if you wanted to add anything, but I just really wanted to say thank you again, because I know how stressful this is. And I'm not even, I mean, I'm kind of in the background doing the things that I like doing. So Freddie, thank you.
Thank you so much for the kind words. Yesterday was really, really special because when I got to see everybody's face, because I'm more of an in-people person, I'm a hugger too. So I like to see people in person, and having to do it this way when everybody turned their cameras on was really something needed. I don't know about you. COVID has been emotionally draining for me, having to be distant from people. I don't know. And it has caused a rise in mental health issues among not only us, but the students we serve, being so distant and having to live life this way. So this is all new to me in terms of this virtual world. Hopefully we will get back to a normal world where we can have a normal conference. Just a reminder that we are on break from 10:30 to 10:45. Then you have your breakout sessions. Go to your Event Mobi app, continue to load which sessions you want to go to. Remember, we're recording the sessions, but we have to transcribe them and then put them on YouTube, and then you will have the recordings in the Event Mobi app eventually, but it's going to take us some time to transcribe all the recordings. I hope you're enjoying the conference so far. We had a wonderful keynote on day one with Chris Norton, and a super, super wonderful keynote with Delana Parrish. I think they both were amazing and had inspiring stories. The power to stand and fearless independence is kind of our theme right now. We all have to work together to get through this. Thank you, guys.
Bye. Thank you.